The rain-slicked streets of Manhattan blurred past the ambulance windows as sirens wailed like banshees in the night. But inside, Alex Harper's world had already shattered into silence. His chest heaved with labored breaths, each one a betrayal from the body he'd pushed too hard, too long, chasing a life that never quite fit. And there, in the chaos of flashing lights and paramedics' urgent voices, his eyes locked on the man leaning over him, Dr. Elias Kane, the one who'd walked away years ago, now murmuring promises that tasted like lies. Elias's hands, steady as ever, pressed the oxygen mask firmer against Alex's face, his green eyes fierce with a desperation Alex hadn't seen since their last goodbye. "Hold on, Alex. I'm here. I'm not leaving you this time." But even as the words escaped Elias's lips, Alex's fingers tightened around the crumpled letter in his pocket. The one Elias had supposedly sent 2 years back, cold and final. "I can't do this anymore. We're done. Don't contact me." The hypocrisy burned hotter than the fever ravaging his lungs. By the time they wheeled him into Mount Sinai's ER, the storm outside had broken loose, thunder cracking like the fault lines in Alex's heart. Nurses swarmed, machines beeped in staccato rhythm, and Elias barked orders with the authority of a man who'd rebuilt his life on forgetting. Alex wanted to scream, to shove that letter in Elias's face and demand answers. Why show up now, after the silence, after the parade of anonymous hookups and therapy sessions that never quite mended the void? But exhaustion claimed him first, pulling him under into a dreamless black where promises were just echoes. When Alex woke, the room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of monitors tracking his erratic vitals. Pneumonia, they said later, aggravated by stress, by nights spent pacing his tiny Brooklyn apartment, dodging calls from his conservative family back in Ohio, who still prayed for his cure. He was 32, a graphic designer scraping by on freelance gigs, his portfolio a riot of bold colors that masked the grayscale of his days. And Elias? The golden boy who'd traded their shared dreams for a white coat and a closet door slammed shut. Elias sat in the chair beside the bed, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms etched with faint scars from their wilder college days. Nights in Ann Arbor dive bars, hands intertwined under tables, whispering futures neither believed they'd survive. "You're awake," Elias said, voice rough from hours of vigil. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, that same boyish curl falling over his forehead. "God, Alex, you scared the hell out of me." Alex's throat scratched like sandpaper. He fumbled for the call button, but his hand brushed the letter instead, spilling it onto the sheets like an accusation. Elias's eyes widened, color draining from his face as he snatched it up. "Where did you get this?" "You tell me." Alex rasped, the mask fogging with his breath. "Your handwriting. Your words. We're done. Ring any bells, Doc?" Elias's jaw clenched, fingers trembling as he unfolded the paper. The room seemed to shrink, the beeps accelerating like a countdown. "This isn't. Alex, I never wrote this. Swear to you." His voice cracked, raw with something deeper than denial, betrayal, mirrored back at Alex like a funhouse reflection. The accusation hung between them, thicker than the four-drip feeding antibiotics into Alex's vein. Elias paced the room, 3 steps one way, 3 back, his polished loafers silent on the linoleum. Outside, dawn crept over the East River, painting the skyline in reluctant pinks. But in here, shadows clung stubborn. "Look at the date," Elias finally said, thrusting the letter back. 2 years ago. I was in my residency at Johns Hopkins then, buried in rotations, barely sleeping. But I called you. Every week. You never picked up." Alex's memory flickered. Voicemails deleted in fits of rage. Nights when the phone buzzed like a hornet and he'd let it die to voicemail, too raw from their blowout fight. That last night in their off-campus apartment, Elias's parents had shown up unannounced, faces twisted in that passive-aggressive horror only Midwestern evangelicals could perfect. "He's confused." His mother had whispered loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "Pray for him, Eli." Elias had frozen. Then, and Alex had packed a bag by morning, the door clicking shut like a guillotine. "I stopped listening," Alex admitted, the words tasting like defeat. "After your folks. After you didn't fight harder." His eyes burned, not from fever but from the old wound reopening. Elias stopped pacing, sinking back into the chair, close enough that Alex could smell his cologne, cedar and citrus, the scent of stolen summers. I was scared, Elias confessed, the admission slipping out like a breath he'd held too long. 24, fresh out of med school interviews, terrified of losing everything I'd worked for. But I didn't write this. Someone did, for you or for me, to end us. His hand hovered near Alex's, not quite touching, the air electric with what-ifs. A knock shattered the moment. Dr. Ramirez, Elias's attending, clipboard in hand, her sharp gaze flicking between them. Kane, you're off shift. Go home. Patient needs rest. She was all business, but Alex caught the subtle arch of her brow, the hospital's unspoken code for keep it professional. Elias hesitated, then nodded, but as he stood, his fingers brushed Alex's knuckles, a spark, deliberate. I'll be back, he promised, voice low. We're figuring this out. Together. Alone, Alex stared at the ceiling tiles, counting water stains like constellations. The letter lay on the side table now, innocuous under the fluorescent hum, but its poison lingered. Who would forge it? A jealous ex? One of Elias's colleagues who'd overheard too much? Or worse, family, wielding words like weapons across state lines? Sleep evaded him, chased by ghosts of what they'd been. Lazy Sundays sketching in bed, Elias's laughter rumbling against Alex's back as they biked through Huron River trails, free in a bubble that prejudice couldn't pierce. Until it did. Morning rounds brought a parade of white coats, but Elias lingered at the periphery, chart in hand, pretending to review labs. Alex caught snippets, elevated white count, oxygen sats improving, but his focus snagged on the way Elias's eyes darted to him, hungry for connection. Lunch arrived on a tray, jello that jiggled like lies, broth thin as excuses. Alex poked at it, appetite lost, until a visitor shuffled in unannounced. Alexandra. The nurse misgendered him out of habit, old chart error from his pre-transition days, though he'd corrected it a dozen times. He winced but waved her off. No, not a nurse. It was Jamie, his best friend from design school, all freckles and frantic energy, clutching a bouquet of wilting daisies like a lifeline. Girl, or guy, whatever, you look like death warmed over. Jamie plopped into the chair, kicking off heels that clicked like castanets. Non-binary and unapologetic, Jamie had been Alex's rock through the coming-out wars, the family estrangements, the endless job hunts where diversity hire, masked quiet biases. Spill. What happened? And why does it smell like regret and expensive aftershave in here? Alex managed a weak laugh, the first in days. Pneumonia. And him. He nodded toward the door where Elias had vanished. Jamie's eyes lit up like Christmas, then narrowed in protective fury. The Dr. X? The one who ghosted? Oh, honey, no. Block, delete, repeat. But as Alex recounted the letter, Jamie's face shifted, curiosity edging out the venom. Wait, forged? That's some Lifetime movie shit. Who's got motive? Your sister? She's still on that pray the gay away kick. Mention of Lena twisted the knife. Back in Cleveland, she'd been the bridge once, sneaking him makeup tutorials pre-transition, defending him at Thanksgiving tables. But after Elias, she'd gone radio silent. Then the letters started, Bible verses underlined in red, please to come home changed. Alex hadn't told her about the pneumonia. Pride, or spite, kept his phone dark. Maybe, he murmured, but doubt crept in. Jamie stayed through afternoon soaps on the muted TV, regaling him with studio gossip. The latest client meltdown over rainbow logos deemed too aggressive. Laughter came easier with Jamie, a balm against the sterile chill, but as evening fell, Elias returned, bearing contraband, a thermos of real coffee, black as their shared secrets. Shoo, he whispered, pouring into a styrofoam cup. Don't tell the vultures. They sipped in companionable quiet at first, the steam curling like question marks. Then Elias pulled up a stool, close enough their knees brushed. I pulled strings. Got access to your old records from the clinic. Nothing jumps out, but I know who might. He laid it out. Their mutual friend from med school days, Theo, brilliant, bitter, who'd nursed a crush on Elias that soured into sabotage. Theo worked admin now, had keys to personnel files, grudges long as the Hudson. He cornered me last year at a conference, Elias said, voice dropping. Asked why I was wasting myself on what-ifs. I blew him off, but Alex's pulse quickened, not just from caffeine. A suspect meant a path forward, but also more digging into the rot they'd both ignored. Confront him? Tonight. After shift. Elias's hand found Alex's then, palm warm, thumb tracing a circle that spoke volumes. But first, talk to me. Really, what's been eating you these years? The floodgates cracked. Alex spilled it all. The freelance droughts. The bar scenes that felt like auditions for heartbreak. The therapy couch where he dissected their split like a cadaver. I thought you chose safety over us. The white picket fence, minus the wife. Elias winced, but listened, his silence a gift rarer than gold. And you? Alex pressed, vulnerability a double-edged sword. Elias's laugh was bitter. Residency was hell. Hiding who I am in a field that chews up distractions. Dates that went nowhere because no one measured up to you. Then last week, your name on the ER board, like fate's cruel joke. He squeezed Alex's hand. I meant it. Not leaving. But as night deepened, the letter's shadow loomed. Theo's shift ended at midnight. Elias slipped out with a promise to text. Alex lay awake, rain pattering the window like impatient fingers. Jamie had left a puzzle book, crosswords to distract, but words blurred, forming instead the what-ifs. What if the letter was just the start? What if deeper prejudices waited, not from strangers, but from within? Dawn's light filtered gray when Elias burst back in, face ashen, rain dripping from his coat. It's him, he said, collapsing into the chair. Theo admitted it. Over beers, thought it was helping me move on. Burned the originals, but kept copies. Said you were holding me back. Rage simmered in Elias's eyes, but beneath it, guilt, for not seeing the snake in their circle sooner. Relief washed over Alex, mingled with sorrow. Forgiven, but not forgotten. What now? We press charges? Or, let it go? Elias's question hung, a crossroads. But before Alex could answer, his phone buzzed. Lena's name flashing, a voice message. Alex, I heard. Coming to see you. We need to talk. About everything. The room tilted. Family, the ultimate wild card. Elias caught the shift in Alex's expression. Your sister? Yeah. Alex's voice trembled. The one who might have inspired Theo's masterpiece. As Elias pulled him into a careful hug, mindful of tubes and monitors, the embrace felt like a truce. But outside, the city stirred, indifferent to their fragile peace, and Alex wondered if love could weather one more storm. The elevator dinged on the 7th floor, disgorging Lena Harper into the hallway like a specter from Alex's past. She was 35 to his 32, but the years had etched lines around her eyes that spoke of mortgages and minivans, the straight-laced life she'd chosen in suburban Cleveland. Blonde bob impeccable, blouse buttoned to the throat. She clutched a Tupperware of homemade lasagna like armor. Mom's recipe, the one she'd smuggled to Alex during high school rebellions. Alexandra. She caught herself, flushing. Alex. Oh God. The hug was awkward, all elbows and hesitation, but genuine in its stiffness. Elias had vanished to rounds, leaving Alex to navigate this minefield solo. Lena pulled up a chair, unpacking the lasagna with maternal fuss. Eat. You look like a ghost. Feels like one, Alex quipped, fork piercing the cheesy layers. It was comfort food, laced with nostalgia, nights when she'd cover for his late returns from underground parties, whispering, "Be safe, little brother." But that was pre-everything, pre-transition, pre-Elias, pre-the chasm that swallowed their bond. She dove in first, words tumbling like she'd rehearsed on the flight. I know about the pneumonia. Mom called the hospital, said you blocked her. Pause, a bite of lasagna to steady. And I saw the news. Wait, no, your friend Jamie emailed. About the doctor. The letter. Alex's fork stilled. Jamie, ever the meddler with a heart of gold. It's complicated. Lena's eyes, blue as Lake Erie, softened. Love always is. Especially when it's us. The word us carried weight. The queer kid and the ally sister, tested by fire. I didn't send that letter, Alex. But I stopped fighting for you after the breakup. Thought space would help. Instead, I let Mom's talk swarm in. He's choosing sin. I hated it, but I echoed it. To keep peace. The confession landed soft, but it stung. Alex set the fork down, appetite fled. You ghosted me when I needed you most. Tears welled, uncharacteristic for Lena, the unflappable. I was scared too. Divorcing Mark last year, finally, and realizing I'd built my life around fitting in. But seeing you fight, it woke me up. She reached across, hand covering his. I'm here now. For real. The vulnerability cracked something in Alex, tears pricking his own eyes. They talked then, really talked. For hours, the lasagna cooling as stories spilled. Her failed marriage's quiet cruelties, his freelance triumphs overshadowed by isolation. By noon, laughter crept in, tentative, over shared memories of Dad's bad jokes at barbecues. Elias peeked in during a lull, assessing the scene with a doctor's eye, then a lover's smile. Family reunion? He asked, sliding into the room with coffee refills. Lena sized him up, tall, broad-shouldered, that air of quiet command, and nodded approval. You must be the ex who isn't anymore. Blunt as ever. Elias chuckled, unfazed, and soon the three fell into easy rhythm. Lena grilling him on shifts, Elias sharing war stories sanitized for civilian ears. It felt normal, dangerously so, like the fractures might heal without scars. But normalcy was a lie the world told queers to lure them into complacency. Afternoon brought discharge papers, antibiotics prescribed, follow-up with pulmonology, and Elias insisted on driving Alex home. Lena tagged along, her rental car trailing their Uber through Midtown snarl. Alex's Brooklyn walk-up loomed, a brownstone relic with fire escapes like iron lace, graffiti-tagged stoop a badge of hipster grit. Need anything? Lena hovered at the door, keys jangling nervously. Just time, Alex said, pulling her into a proper hug. And maybe weekly calls. No sermons. Deal. She kissed his cheek, lingering. Love you, Alex. Always have. As she descended the stairs, Elias stepped inside, the apartment shrinking around his presence. It was a time capsule of Alex's life, sketches pinned to walls, a pride flag draped over the couch, bookshelves sagging under queer-lit and designed tomes. Elias wandered, fingers trailing spines. Giovanni's room. Call me by your name. His expression a map of regrets. This place suits you, he said softly, turning. Bold. Unapologetic. Unlike my dating profile. Alex flopped onto the couch, for port itching under his shirt. Elias joined him, close but not crowding, the space between them humming with unresolved tension. They ordered Thai, pad cew and spring rolls, comfort in grease and spice, and ate cross-legged on the floor, backs against the coffee table. Conversation meandered. Elias's recent conference in Boston, where he'd outed himself in a panel Q&A, earning applause and a job offer from a progressive clinic. Alex's latest gig, rebranding a nonprofit for LGBTQ+ youth. Pixels turned to purpose. But undercurrents pulled stronger. Theo's out, Elias said midway through a roll. Resigned this morning. HR's involved. No charges, but a record that'll follow. Justice, small and bureaucratic, but it eased the knot in Alex's chest. Good. Alex paused, chopsticks hovering. But what about us? That letter. It amplified everything I feared. That you'd bolt again when it got hard. Elias set his bowl aside, shifting to face him fully. I get it. I was a coward then. But these years? I've grown into the fight. Came out to my parents last Christmas, over turkey and tears. They didn't disown me, but it's frosty. Progress. His hand found Alex's knee, steady. I'm all in now. If you'll have me. The words hung, a bridge over the abyss. Alex searched Elias's face, those green eyes, unguarded, and saw truth. Leaning in, he closed the gap, lips brushing in a kiss soft as forgiveness. It deepened slow, hands cupping faces, a reclaiming without rush. When they parted, foreheads touching, Alex whispered, second chances. Let's not waste it. Night fell gentle, Elias staying over, on the couch, chased as monks, talking till sleep claimed them. But morning brought the first crack, a call from the hospital. Elias's phone buzzed at 6 a.m., voice terse on the line. What do you mean, complaint filed? Alex stirred, rubbing sleep from eyes. Everything okay? Elias hung up, face thunderous. Anonymous tip to ethics board. accusing me of impropriety with a patient. The word landed like a slap. Patient, reducing Alex to a chart number, their kiss to scandal. Who? But Alex knew, gut twisting. Theo's parting shot, venom from the grave of his grudge. Worse, the complaint cited the letter as evidence of manipulation. Elias paced the cramped living room, phone clutched like a grenade. I have to go in. Statement, review. Could be suspension. Alex stood, steadying him with hands on shoulders. Fight it. We fight together. But as Elias dressed, scrubs swapped for slacks and button-down, the fear crept in. Not just for jobs or reputations, but for the fragile us they'd rebuilt overnight. Brooklyn buzzed awake outside, vendors hawking bagels, but inside, storm clouds gathered anew. Elias left with a fierce kiss, promising updates. Alex showered slow, the hot water washing away hospital grime, but not the dread. Jamie arrived by noon, bearing bagels and outrage. Ethics board? That's bullshit queerphobia wrapped in policy. We lawyer up. Over cream cheese and coffee, they plotted. Emails to allies, a petition circulating among Elias's residents. Jamie's network was a web of activists, trans baristas to non-binary coders, and soon Justice for Kane trended locally, ex-posts amplifying the call. See? Power in numbers, Jamie grinned, but Alex's smile faltered at a knock. Not Lena this time, but a delivery, manila envelope, no return address. Inside, photocopies, Theo's confession notes, but doctored, painting Elias as the aggressor in their past. He strung you along, the attached memo sneered. Time to cut free. Alex's hands shook as he texted Elias, more poison. Hold on. But replies lagged, swallowed by boardroom battles. Afternoon dragged, sunlight slanting gold through blinds, mocking the chill in Alex's bones. He sketched to cope, bold lines of intertwined figures, defying erasure, but the page tore under pressure. Evening brought Elias back, hollow-eyed. Ty Askew. Cleared. Witnesses vouched. Ramirez tore the complainer apart. Relief flooded, but Elias's next words doused it. They want me to transfer. To avoid appearances. Philly Clinic. Starting next month. The room spun. Philly, 3 hours south. A chasm wider than miles. And us. Elias pulled him close, embrace fierce. We make it work. Weekends, calls. I'm not running. But doubt whispered. How many times can love bend before it breaks? As they collapsed onto the bed, exhausted, clothed, holding tight, Alex clung to the rhythm of Elias's breath, a lifeline in the gathering dark. Philly loomed like a specter in the weeks that followed, a city of brotherly love that felt anything but. Elias packed methodically, suitcases zipped with clinical precision, while Alex hovered, offering distractions, walks in Prospect Park, where autumn leaves crunched underfoot like brittle promises. Their nights blurred into a fever of closeness, bodies entwined in urgent affirmation, but dawn always came, dragging reality in its wake. Lena extended her stay, crashing on Jamie's futon, her presence a buffer against the ache. She'd thawed fully now, trading Bible apps for podcasts on allyship, even joining a local PFLAG chapter via Zoom. It's like AA for families, she joked over takeout one night, chopsticks waving like conductors' batons. Admit the mess, make amends. The group dynamic steadied Alex, Jamie's snark, Lena's quiet strength, Elias's steady humor. They game nights turned epic, Monopoly marathons where Elias bankrupted everyone with ruthless trades, Jamie crowing over queer solidarity, hotel empires. Laughter echoed off exposed brick, a temporary ward against the exodus. But cracks spiderwebbed. Elias's shifts bled into overnights, calls cut short by codes blue. Alex's freelance picked up, a campaign for a trans health nonprofit, but deadlines clashed with goodbyes, resentment simmering unspoken. One rainy Tuesday, as Elias loaded the U-Haul curbside, Alex snapped. This is bullshit. They push you out for loving me, and we just accept. Elias paused, rain sheeting down his face. It's not acceptance. It's strategy. The Philly spot's better, more progressive, research wing. I fight from strength, not suspension limbo. Logic, cold as the downpour. Alex nodded, throat tight. and they drove to LaGuardia together, Elias's flight a red-eye to seal the deal. At security, the hug lingered, airport din fading to their heartbeats. Video every night, Elias murmured. And I'm back next weekend. Promise. The kiss was salt-tinged, desperate. Then Elias vanished through the scanner, backpack slung like a soldier's kit. Alex rode the subway home numb, the rattle of tracks echoing his unraveling. Jamie waited with wine and a rom-com cue. To remind you love's not all tragedy, but sleep-evaded, chased by visions of empty apartments. Distance tested them swift. Elias's texts came in bursts, or all night. Miss your laugh. Alex replied with sketches, digital hearts laced with Liberty Bells, but replies lagged, swallowed by 12-hour days. Week 1, a video call crackled with static, Elias's face pixelated in scrubs. Philly's gritty. Love the cheesesteaks, hate the traffic. They laughed, shared mundane miracles. Alex's client praise, Elias's first surgery solo. But week 2, the letter's ghost resurfaced. A package arrived at Alex's door, anonymous again, this time emails printed, chained from Theo to a board member, twisting the complaint into ongoing concerns. Kane's instability endangers patience. Alex forwarded to Elias, who cursed in reply, lawyers on it. Don't let it in. Harder to evict was the isolation. Jamie's enthusiasm waned under work crunch. Lena flew home, promising monthly visits. Alex threw himself into the nonprofit gig, billboards of smiling trans teens, tagline see us, be us, but nights alone amplified echoes, the creak of floorboards, the phantom scent of Elias's cologne. He joined a queer book club, pages turning under lamplight, but discussions skirted his ache, metaphors for longing lost on the group. Mid-month, crisis hit. Elias called at 3 a.m., voice wrecked. Car accident on the Schuylkill. Kid from the ER, texted me panicked, I went. Totaled my Civic. No injuries, but the what-if clawed. Elias, hurt, hours away. Alex booked the Bolt bus dawn, arriving Philly by noon to a waiting Elias. Bruised knuckles from gripping the wheel, but whole. They crashed at Elias's sublet, a sterile one-bed with hospital views, collapsing into sheets that smelled of starch and safety. Needed you, Elias admitted, head on Alex's chest. They talked till dusk, fears of fragility, the board's shadow, dreams deferred. Philly's temporary, Elias vowed. 6 months, then I push for transfer back. Alex traced his jaw, memorizing contours. Make it 3. Laughter bubbled, easing the vice. They ventured out, Waller runs for hoagies, strolls along the Delaware where graffiti murals burst in defiant color. Elias pointed out his hospital, a monolith of glass and mercy. Saved a life today. Queer kid, suicide attempt. Reminded me why. Pride swelled, mingled with envy. Elias thriving while Alex treaded water. Back in Brooklyn that Sunday, the bus ride stretched eternal, skyline fading like a bruise. Monday brought a curveball. Lena, breathless on the line. Mom's coming. Insists. Heard about this scandal from church friends. Twisted it into prayer chains. Alex's stomach dropped. Mom, 60, silver-haired, Bible in one hand, judgment in the other. The woman who'd baked his transition binders into cakes, then prayed them away. Tell her no. Can't. She's booked. Arrives Friday. Lena's voice cracked. Help me buffer? Resignation settled. Elias arrived Friday Eve, fortifying with pizza and pep talks. Boundaries, babe. She's here to see you, not convert. But Mom's arrival Saturday was a whirlwind. Airport pickup in her rental Prius, hugs stiff as starch collars. Evelyn Harper, eyes sharp behind bifocals, scanned Alex's apartment like a crime scene. Cozy, she said, tone laced with but could be cleaner. Elias played host flawless. Handshakes firm, small talk on weather and work. Earning a cautious doctor. Noble. Dinner was lasagna redux. Lena mediating like a pro. Conversation tiptoed. Mom's garden club triumphs. Alex's designs praised obliquely. Then, inevitable, and your friend. Mom's gaze flicked to Elias, euphemism heavy. Boyfriend, Alex corrected, chin up. Elias, we've been together 8 years, off and on. Silence blanketed, broken by Mom's fork clink. Off and on, like a light switch. God doesn't wire us that way, Alexandra. Alex. The word snapped, electric. Elias's hand found his under-the-table anchor. Mom pressed on, voice soft as steel. I prayed. For clarity. This. Distance, the troubles, it's a sign. Come home, let us help. The room thickened, air charged. Lena jumped in. Mom, stop. Alex is happy. That's the sign. But Mom's eyes welled. Genuine hurt, or performance. I lost my son to this lifestyle. Can't lose him more. Elias cleared his throat, calm thunder. Mrs. Harper, with respect, Alex isn't lost. He's found. In a world that tried to erase him, he built something real. Us. If faith means love, then celebrate that. The words landed, Mom's facade cracking. She dabbed eyes, murmuring, I try. But it's hard, seeing you. Different. Dinner dissolved into tea and tentative truces, Mom flipping through Alex's portfolio, nodding at rainbow ads. Pretty work. Progress, glacial. She left Sunday. Hug warmer. A promise. Call more. I'll listen. Elias stayed through Monday. Their goodbye at Penn Station a public vow. Kiss unhurried. Commuters blurring. Stronger now, he said. Alex nodded, believing it. But Tuesday's email shattered illusion. From the nonprofit client. Project paused. Board concerns over personal drama. This scandal had leaked. Tendrils of Theo's malice strangling Alex's lifeline. Panic surged. He texted Elias. Then Jamie. Voicemails piling. By evening, answers coalesced. A rival firm, sniffing opportunity, had amplified the board complaint online. X threads dissected Elias's ethics lapse, morphing into queer-baiting memes. Alex scrolled, nausea rising, until Jamie banged in with laptops and lattes. Counterattack time. They drafted posts. Transparent, fierce. Love isn't scandal. Bigotry is. Allies amplified. Signatures swelled. Elias called from Philly, voice steel. Proud of you. We'll weather. But as night deepened, Alex curled on the couch, the apartment vast and cold. Distance wasn't just miles. It was the silence after storms, the fear that every bridge burned led to isolation. Sleep came fitful, dreams of letters multiplying like viruses, each one erasing a piece of us. Winter clamped down on the Northeast like a vice, snow blanketing Brooklyn in hush-white lies. Alex's freelance dried to drips. The nonprofit hiatus stretched, bills stacking like accusations. He tempied at a midtown agency, churning generic ads for banks that preached inclusion while glass-ceilinging diversity hires. Elias thrived in Philly, texts buzzing with triumphs. Mentored a resident today. Out and proud. But pride soured to envy, calls thinning to logistics over longing. Jamie dragged him to therapy, group for queer creatives, circle of folding chairs in a Chelsea community center. Spill, the facilitator urged, a butch dyke with tattooed knuckles. Alex hesitated, then unleashed. The letter, the board, Mom's half apologies. Nods rippled, stories echoed. Rejections, resurrections. You're not alone. A trans artist murmured, sharing a zine of survival sketches. It stuck, a talisman against the void. Lena visited monthly, her flights a ritual, now with queer-lit recommendations, dog-eared Audre Lorde. For the ally homework, she'd wink, over diner eggs. One trip, she brought news. Mom starting a book club, queer authors only. Begrudgingly, Lena laughed. But it's something. Elias's weekends anchored them. High-speed trains to Penn, stolen Fridays in Alex's bed, Saturdays exploring. MoMA exhibits where hands brushed in crowds. Sundays cooking brunches that bled into lazy afternoons. Philly's growing on me, Elias admitted once, over mimosas. But you're home. The words mended, stitch by stitch. Yet tension coiled. A February call from Elias. Boards sniffing again. Want a voluntary recertification. Like I'm defective. Anger flared in Alex. Distant, but impotent. Come back. Fight here. Soon, Elias promised. But soon stretched. Marked by a gift, tickets to a gala, GLAAD Awards in Manhattan, black tie blaze of visibility. You as my +1, Elias texted. Show them we're unbreakable. The night glittered, Alex in a tailored velvet blazer, Elias dapper in tux, arm linked defiant. Red carpet flashes popped, interviews gushing. Tell us about your work. Elias eloquent on queer health equity, Alex beaming beside. Inside, champagne flowed, speeches thundering against discrimination. They danced slow under chandeliers, world fading to bass and breath. But midway, a shadow, Theo, across the room, schmoozing donors, fired but networked, smirk sharp as scalpels. He approached during dessert, flute raised mock toast. Kane, still playing hero. Elias stiffened, but Alex stepped forward, voice ice. Or ending villains. Enjoy the view from the sidelines. Theo's laugh grated. Touché. But watch your back. Truth has a way of surfacing. He melted into the crowd, but the chill lingered. Later, buzzed on victory, they tumbled into a cab, Elias's hand possessive on Alex's thigh. He's noise. We're signal. Back home, the high crashed. Alex's temp gig soured, boss's joke about diversity quotas landing like slaps. He quit mid-march, storming out to slushy streets, resumed flying to voids. Elias arrived that weekend, sensing fracture. New chapter, he urged, over rooftop beers as skyline twinkled. Your talent's too big for cubicles. Inspiration struck Monday. A solo exhibit pitch to a Bushwick gallery. Threads of us, sketches of queer resilience, Elias woven in abstract strokes. Jamie hyped it, connections greased. By April, walls promised space. Elias's transfer talks heated. Mount Sinai dangling a return, post-investigation. Spring bloomed tentative, cherry blossoms dusting parks like confetti. Mom's calls warmed. Read that Baldwin book. Haunting. Lena mediated a family Zoom. Awkward, but intact. Life knit, threads pulling taut. Then, May's gut punch. Elias's voicemail, post-shift exhaustion. Alex. Complication. Migraine cluster, bad one. Are here, but I'm okay. Call when you're up. Panic propelled Alex south. Amtrak blurring to Philly by noon. Elias waited in his apartment, ice packed to temple, pallor ghostly. Stress, he downplayed. Bored bullshit amplifying. But scans loomed, specialists consulted. Nothing dire, but the scare etched deep. They hunkered, soups simmered, movies marathoned, bodies curled in quiet vigil. Scared me, Alex confessed, head on Elias's lap. Thought I'd lose you to more than miles. Elias stroked his hair. Not happening. Transfers greenlit, back in July. Elation surged, plans spilling, shared lease hunts, gallery opening toasts. Return to Brooklyn buzzed electric. Alex dove into exhibit prep. Canvases sprawling, colors vivid as hope. Jamie co-curated, Lena promised caterers. Elias packed Philly light, sublet surrendered. June's heat wave baked the city, but cool came in waves. A beach day in Coney, hands sandy-linked, waves lapping confessions. Remember in Arbor Summers? Elias murmured, toes buried. Felt invincible. We are, Alex replied, kissing salt from his lips. Exhibit Eve, gallery humming, wine poured, friends milling. Mom even flew up, dress floral, smile tentative, whispering to Alex, proud. Truly. Speeches flowed, Jamie's roast, Elias's ode to the artist who redraws my world. Sales trickled, then poured, pieces claimed, dreams validated. But as crowd thinned, a figure lingered. Theo, uninvited, champagne in hand. Impressive, he sneered to Elias. But fragile. One crack. Alex intercepted, voice steel. Leave. Or I call security, with receipts. Theo balked, but slunk out, tail between legs. After party at home, laughter loud, cake smeared. Elias pulled Alex aside, ring box conjured, simple band, silver promise. Not proposal. Yet. Just. Forever starter. Tears pricked. Yes. Fingers laced, band slid warm. July dawned with Elias's move. Boxes hauled. Apartment merged into Alex's expanded lease. Work synced. Elias in oncology, Alex gallery adjacent gigs. Life settled, sweet as routine. But August whispered warning. Anonymous email to the gallery. Leaked, intimate, photos, blurred but damning, from college cache. Panic flared, Theo's final lash. But forensics traced to Elias's ex-colleague, grudge petty. They lawyered, statement, silenced it. Mom sent flowers, strength in storms. Lena toasted at dinner. Till unbreakable threads. Fall approached, leaves turning, love deepening roots. Alex sketched their future, bold lines, endless horizons. No letters loomed, only pages turning forward. Autumn's palette painted Manhattan in fire, oranges and crimsons mirroring the blaze in Alex's veins as the exhibit's momentum carried him into a full-time role at the gallery. Curator of Emerging Queer Voices, title gleaming on letterhead, salary steadying the ship. Elias settled into Mount Sinai's rhythm. Oncology ward a battlefield where he wielded scalpels and solace in equal measure. Mornings blurred, coffee brewed black, kisses stolen over sink splashes, commutes synced on the F train. Their merged life hummed. Elias's vinyl collection clashing gloriously with Alex's indie playlists, shared fridge stocked with overnight oats and Thai leftovers. Date nights evolved, Broadway matinees, hands clasped in dim theaters, or quiet evenings sketching Elias's profile by lamplight, lines capturing the quiet heroism in his furrowed brow. But harmony hid undercurrents. Elias's hours stretched with a terminal case, a young lesbian, Elena, whose chemo mirrored Alex's pneumonia fragility. She's fighter, Elias shared over dinner, Fork paused. Reminds me. Us. Alex nodded, but envy nipped, Elias pouring hard into strangers while their forever starter band felt like placeholder. Lena's visits anchored family ties. Thanksgiving planning, turkey debates via FaceTime with mom, who now peppered calls with Stonewall facts gleaned from podcasts. Learning curve, she'd say, voice sheepish. Progress, Alex marveled, but scars itched. Trust rebuilt brick by cautious brick. Jamie's orbit tightened too. A new flame, Riley, a poet with ink-stained fingers and infectious grin, folding into brunches. Group hikes in the Palisades became ritual, boots crunching leaves, stories swapped like treasures. Squad goals, Jamie dubbed it, camera snapping candids of tangled arms and windswept laughs. Yet December's chill brought frost. Elias's holiday shift loomed. Christmas Eve ER duty, and old wounds surfaced. Last year, Philly, you bailed on New Year's, Alex accused lightly, but Ed sharpened it. Elias winced, pager beeping traitorously. Babe, it's the job. We do quiet Valentines. Sting lingered, amplified by a gallery event. Donor gala, Alex schmoozing in slim-fit suit, Elias delayed by a consult. Alone amid crystal clinks, a familiar face emerged. Theo, somehow credentialed, eyes gleaming malice. Harper, still Kane's shadow. Alex's jaw set. Or your nightmare. How'd you weasel in? Donations by doors. Theo sipped Merlot, smirk curling. Heard about the photos. Sloppy cover-up. But deeper digs. Oh, the stories. Threat veiled, but potent. Alex texted Elias. Theo here. Stirring shit. Reply on way. Stall. But before backup, Theo cornered him by the bar. Tell Kane. Past catches up. That letter? Tip of iceberg. Heart hammered. What iceberg? Theo leaned close, breath wine sour. Ask about Sarah. College sweetheart. The one he forgot to mention. He vanished into suits, leaving Alex reeling. Sarah? Elias's and Arbor X, the straight-laced bio major who'd cured his experimentation phase, or so dorm gossip went. Elias arrived breathless, scanning. Where is he? Gone. Alex pulled him to an alcove, voice low. What about Sarah? Theo dropped her name like a bomb. Elias paled, grip tightening on Alex's arm. Ancient history. Before us. Why now? The gala's glamour soured. They cabbed home early, silence thick as fog. Apartment door clicked shut, coats shed, but tension clung. Talk. Alex demanded, couch sinking under them. No ghosts. Elias exhaled slow, hands raking hair. Sarah was. Cover. Sophomore year, parents visiting, I panicked. Dated her 3 months. Kisses, no more. Broke it clean when I met you. Eyes earnest, pleading. Theo knew. Twisted it to poison. Relief mingled doubt. Why hide? We shared everything. Embarrassment. It was fake, a farce. Didn't want it tainting us. Elias cupped Alex's face, thumbs brushing cheeks. You're my truth. Always. Kiss sealed it, fierce and forgiving, bodies aligning in apology. But seed planted, Theo's whispered germinating unease. New Year's dawned crisp, Elias off-shift miracle. They rang it on the rooftop. Champagne popped, city fireworks blooming like defiant stars. To truths, Alex toasted, band glinting. Elias echoed, and us. January thawed the rift, but February's Valentine's brought bloom. Elias planned surprise. A weekend in the Berkshires, cabin rented, snowshoe trails mapped. Train to Albany, then rental Jeep crunching powder. Cabin glowed rustic. Fire crackling, stew simmering. Nights tangled in flannel sheets. Days exploring frozen ponds where breaths fogged like secrets shared. One eve, by hearth light, Elias unburdened more. Residency horrors, a colleague's outing gone wrong. Suicide in the aftermath. Push me to come out. For Elena, for others. Alex listened, heart aching, then confessed his own. The post-breakup spiral, a near relapse to old harms. You saved me, even absent. Vows renewed, deeper. Return to city buzz. Gallery buzzing with a queer film series curation. Elias's ward celebrating Elena's remission with pizza parties. Life synced, pulses aligned. Spring's thaw mirrored thaw within. Mom visited, solo, brave, strolling high line, arm linked with Alex's, Elias trailing respectful. Beautiful, she murmured of river views. Then, halting, you too. Happy. Very. Alex said, squeezing her hand. She nodded, tears glinting. Then that's my prayer answered. Triumph small, seismic. Jamie's wedding loomed. June, to Riley, in a loft space dripping fairy lights. Alex best man duties, toast pinned heartfelt, words weaving their circles tapestry. But May's shadow fell, Elena's relapse. Elias came home shattered, scrubs rumpled, eyes hollow. Stage 4. Weeks maybe. Alex held him through sobs, the man who'd mended worlds now fracturing. Vigil began, hospital visits, Alex sketching Elena's portraits, fierce eyes, bandana bold, to hang in her room. Legacy, she rasped, gripping his hand. Elias fought bedside, protocols bent, miracles chased. Jamie's wedding day, joy amid grief, vows exchanged under arches of wildflowers. Alex's toast cracked laughs, then tears. Love's not absence of storm, it's dancing in it. Elias, beside, squeezed thigh under table, anchor. June blurred. Elena's decline swift, passing mid-month in a room scented lavender. Funeral small, fierce, queer choirs singing hymns rewritten radical. Elias eulogized, voice breaking. She taught us visibility's power. Grief bonded them tighter, therapy joint now. Couple sessions unpacking losses echo on their fears. Don't let it steal us, Alex urged one night, rain lashing windows. Never, Elias vowed, ring turning on finger. July's heat peaked with gallery's anniversary bash, crowd eclectic, toasts flowing. Theo crashed, bold or desperate, Mike commandeered mid-event. Truth time, he slurred, projector hacked to flicker old photos. Elias and Sarah, staged smiles. Gasps rippled. Alex lunged, but Elias surged forward, calm lethal. Enough. He seized the remote, screen blacking. That was a lie I told myself once. This, arm around Alex, public claim, is truth. And you? Out. Security escorted, but damage lingered. Murmurs, eyes questioning. Aftermath, statements to board, allies rallying. Mom called, saw the clip online. Stood by you, son. August cooled scandals, exhibit sales soaring on buzz. Elias's promotion whispered, department head, voice for queer staff. Alex's book deal nibbled, threads as graphic memoir, publisher hooked. Fall's harvest, joint therapy breakthrough, forgiveness ritual, letter burned in park fire pit, ashes to wind. Clean slate, Elias said, lips to temple. Winter circled, but warmer. Christmas with Mom and Lena, table groaning turkey and tails. Jamie's baby moon announcement, surrogate journey, sparked godparent dreams. New Year's Eve, rooftop again, fireworks, but now with promises etched. Marry me, Elias asked, knee not bent but heart open, second band offered. Gold, etched us. Yes, Alex breathed, world exploding in light. Life wove on, threads resilient, twists tamed, love the warp and weft. The proposal's afterglow stretched into spring, a golden haze over Brooklyn's greening streets. Wedding plans unfurled casual, City Hall quickie, then Catskills reception with wildflower wreaths and queer playlist anthems. Invites handwritten, wax-sealed, mom RSVPs with honored, Lena plotting bachelorette hijinks, paint and sip, natch. Jamie, maid of honor co-conspirator, sources a drag queen officiant. For the flair. Elias's department head nod solidified, speeches at conferences, op-eds on inclusive care punching through journals. Alex's memoir deal inks, advance modest, but validation vast, manuscript pouring out in fevered nights. Elias proofreading with red pen kisses. Raw, he murmurs. Real. But joy's underbelly stirred. A June email from Theo's lawyer. Defamation suit threatened. Photos deemed public interest. Elias's jaw sets over breakfast. Settle or fight? Fight. Alex decides, fire kindled. Lawyers loop in. Evidence mounts. Theo's hacks traced. Witnesses from college surfacing with affidavits. Board backs Elias fully now. Statement decrying harassment. Summer simmers tension. Depositions in stuffy offices. Theo's glare venomous across tables. You'll regret, he hisses post-session. But cracks show, his career cratered, isolation etching lines. Alex pities, fleeting, hurt people hurt. July's heat breaks with wedding week. Rehearsal dinner at Jamie's loft, Riley grilling skewers, laughter drowning nerves. Mom arrives early, helping steam veils. Her own, unearthed from attic, symbol offered. Tradition evolved. Tears shared, generational bridge. Day of dawns misty. Alex in linen suit, butterflies rioting, Elias across park gazebo in navy. Eyes locked like vows already spoken. Drag queen, divina divine, booms, do you loves? Rings exchange, bands nesting now, kiss ceiling under cheers. Reception erupts. Toasts torrential. Lena's tearjerker on sibling redemption. Jamie's roast on stubborn romantics. Mom's quiet. Blessed. Dance floor pulses. Dancing queen to levitating, bodies free. Elias pulls Alex close mid-slow jam. Husband. Honeymoon. Amtrak to Provincetown. Dune shacks and whale watches. Nights salty-skinned. Hours. Alex whispers to waves. Return refuels. Memoir draft submitted. Elias's grant for queer youth clinic funded. Fall's harvest reaps rewards. Theo drops suit. Evidence overwhelming. Apology extracted via settlement gag. Gallery expands. Alex curating traveling exhibit. Threads across America. Mom volunteers, packing crates with care. Winter whispers legacy. Elena's foundation launches. Elias chair. Scholarships for LGBTQ plus med students. Alex illustrates promo. Portraits honoring her fire. Spring circles full. Jamie's baby arrives. Non-binary bundle. Theo named after a poet, not villain. Godparent duties delight. Tiny hands gripping fingers. Anniversaries mark. 1 year City Hall vow renewal. Park picnic with squad. 2. Memoir launches. Signing lines snaking. Elias beaming front row. Years weave. Mom's pride parade march. Lena's coming out as bi. Family therapy fortifies. Elias's clinic thrives. Alex's second book brews. Unraveled. Love's next chapter. Challenges crest. Elias's burnout bout. Therapy tandem. Alex's creative block. Elias's sketches sparking. But storms pass. Rainbows arch. Decade dawns. Rooftop vows renewed. Graying temples. Lines laughter etched. Still not leaving. Elias teases, echoing that hospital night. Never again. Alex replies, letter long ash, love eternal ink. Their story, unfinished, pages turning, hearts entwined.